That's it. Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Sunday, September 9th, 2018. And get away from there, Caesar. Caesar, no. So I got to give you the kitty update so far here. Alpha, which is this one right here.
The white one with the more brown, or more gray, sorry.
The white one with the more gray. She is given away. So she is off the table. She'll be going in the next day or so. And so we have 4 more that need to go. So they're having feeding time right now. And so we'll see how that all goes. And the puppies are over here being puppies. All right, so I wanted to talk about, I'll show you Miss Molly's over there. She's eating on over there. And of course, then we have Mr. Lucy. Mr. Lucy's a good boy. Yes, he's a good boy. All right. So let's talk about the topic of today's video. Hurricane Florence, which right now is a Category 1 hurricane. They're saying by the time it makes landfall on Thursday that there's a possibility that it could be a Category 4 hurricane with maximum winds of 150 miles an hour, which is crazy. They're not 100% sure where it's going to hit yet. Of course, the models are saying anywhere from Georgia to North Carolina to possibly Virginia. So, in the Carolinas in between. So it's just, it's too early to tell exactly where it's going to hit, but if it stays on its projected course right now, it's going to hit in the mid-Atlantic states. So I know people are preparing for that, and they probably will prepare more as they have more knowledge of exactly where it's going to go. But this is another reason why, folks, when I talk about preparing, those are the type of events that you prepare for, because if it hits at 150 mile an hour winds, that's going to cause a lot of damage. You're going to have power outages big time. And so a lot of people are going to be affected by that. And again, really depends on where it hits and what kind of population centers that it's hitting and what kind of damage it's going to do. But it's definitely one of those things, and I always say keep an eye on. So it's definitely one of those things that you want to keep an eye on. And the puppies are going crazy over here. They're running around playing. They actually have a green tomato. That's what Caesar has in his mouth right now, is a green tomato. So as he goes by, you can see that in his mouth. But anyhow, so, sorry, What's that, honey? Well, there was a tomato over there, too. They pulled a tomato off the vine. But anyhow, so they're having fun and they're doing their thing, which is okay. It's good for them to run and get that exercise. They need that exercise. So anyway, the garden is winding down. We are still, it was cool last night. We got into the high 40s last night, so it was definitely a chilly night. It was only 50 degrees this morning. So the tomatoes are still doing well. We're pulling tomatoes off pretty much every day. And I've been giving a lot of the tomatoes away and stuff like that because, like I said, I do enjoy sharing, with other people and stuff like that. But you can see some of the plants are starting to wilt and die now. Garden did fantastic this year. I have absolutely no complaints of what the garden did this year. It was absolutely awesome. So, and these plants here, you can see they're still rocking along. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how much more we pull out of here before before winter gets here. I was going to say before the snow flies. Somebody hates it when I say before the snow flies, but it's like, in the Northeast, you're always preparing for winter. I mean, even in the spring and in the summer, you're thinking ahead and you're thinking about winter. So that's just what we do. And especially, when you live off grid and your way that you heat your home is with wood, it's definitely, something that you have to really take into consideration. So a couple questions people had, so we rewired yesterday and hooked up the generator so that when we're running the generator, we can charge the batteries for the solar system. So somebody had asked me what's going to happen, with all this. So what I'm looking at, I got a project coming up that I'm going to be doing, and it's looking like October. I'm going to be ordering the rack for this, and I'm going to go ahead and order that because I had thought about possibly building something, but I just want to do it right and get it done and get all the panels up. We have 12 panels up right now, so I want to get them up. They're going to be on one rack that's going to be able to hold 20 panels. So it's going to be 2 levels of panels. So it's like right now you see like there's 6 here, so you would figure 4 more across that it'll hold. So pretty much from this area here all the way across probably to like the edge of the garden would all be as long as that's going to be. So it's going to be in this area. So all this is going to get broken down. All this will be broken down. All these panels will be brought down. So there's 12 panels here. I have 3 other panels that we can add to the system. So we're going to have 15 panels up by the end of October in a metal rack that's set up, that's going to be adjustable. So it's like, here's the panels, we can go up or we can go down or whatever way we want to have them depending on the season of when that's going to be. So that is going to be in this year before winter, before the snow flies, like I say, and that's the game plan. So that's going to happen in October. It's going to be because like I said, I have a project coming up that I got to take care of, and I'll explain all that at another video in another time. But so that's what's happening with that. Also, like I said, hopefully before winter hits full force, we are going to finish getting the chicken coop squared away, get the outer walls in, and I wanted to show, well, I don't know if I can, yeah, you can't really see it right now, I can't really show you, but we talked about insulation, and people were like, you know, don't insulate the inside of the chicken coop because of the fact that, you know, the mice will get in there and get into it and stuff like that. I have leftover Roxol insulation from when we did the house, and my cousin just finished up a project that he had, and he brought me his extra insulation that he had, and he brought me a large bag of Roxol insulation, and it's R-O-X-U-L, Roxol is what it's called, and that insulation is a sound suppressant, it's waterproof, you know, the mice don't like to nest into it, so it's rodent proof, and it's a great insulation, and that's what I would be putting hopefully into the chicken coop. I don't know how much of it I could put in, but I'd like to have some of it in the wall so there's not, you know, any kind of wind blowing through. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see how much that I have available to use. We'll try to use as much of that as we possibly can in the chicken coop, but I do definitely want to insulate that to a degree, just so that the chickens have you know, some kind of protection, because it does get very, very cold up here, and I don't want to walk out there and find frozen chickens, so that would be bad. And this way, like I said, I mean, I know last winter we had days where the air temperature was -14, and that didn't include the wind chill. So I mean, it you know, up here in the hills, it definitely is much colder than down in the lower elevations. So we always have to, you know, be aware of that. And so I just want to make sure that, like I said, once with the chickens, that is, you know, squared away. I had talked also with Brian about possibly putting the solar panels on top of the chicken house. I'm not sure if, you know, he wants to build a rack for his panels, and I said that's fine. What I'm planning on doing, I have a 45-watt solar, a Harbor solar kit that I bought many years ago before we even moved up here, that is still sitting in the box, and I also have an extra 20-watt panel. I think what my game plan is going to be for those is to put those on top of the chicken coop, and then that way I will run inside, have a battery inside the chicken coop that will charge up, a light for the chickens in the chicken coop, so that they can, you know, if it's winter, you know, and they, you know, that way they can stay warmer that way. So that's kind of the game plan on that. You know, and like I said, once we get everything all set up, you know, I'll obviously share all these things with you as we go. But so anyway, I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on the whole Florence, Hurricane Florence, and you know, like I said, I know it's kind of too early to tell where exactly it's going to hit landfall, but I know that when it does, it's going to do major damage. So that's not a pleasant thing, and so it's going to affect quite a few people. So I definitely want to hear you guys' feedback, what you think of that whole situation. If you are on the coast, how prepared are you? Are you guys ready? You know, that's an important thing that I think a lot of people really, like I said, and I don't understand why anybody on the coast especially from Florida all the way up to Virginia, you know, even in New York. I mean, it's hit, you know, in Maine, they've caught it as well. So, you know, why more people are not prepared for those kind of natural disasters, it just makes so much more sense to me to be ready for that. So, you know, that being the case, you know, that's a lot of people just aren't. They don't think about those things. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off here from now. So obviously, as you see, Miss Heather is home. So we picked her up. Give us a wave, darling. Oh, the enthusiasm. I can hardly stand it. So, yes, I'm going to jump off of here for now and get this video up for you guys. Remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. And remember, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. Nobody else will do that, okay? So you all have a great day. I hope everything is going well. I hope you had a good weekend. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.